Really?
I try to keep it in a ponytail. It's hard to change sometimes.
Great. Hi,
I just got,
friend.
my sister just trimmed it literally 5 minutes ago, just trimmed the ends of it. That's why it kind of looks pretty right now, but hey, it's a joke. It's a trick. Okay. It's a trick.
It's fabulous.
What's y'all doing?
We're
so excited.
Going further into this conversation, which is really exciting. I would love to see the full gallery view.
Sure.
Yeah, just to see everybody's faces and places. Hi, Katerina, you're still awake. I love you. All of you in Europe and different parts of the world, we're so appreciative that you stay awake to have this conversation together. Anybody new this week where this is their first time rolling into this group of friends here? If you are, just raise your hands. We're going to give people just a few more minutes to come in. Hi, Maria, we see you. You're new. Great. Welcome. So nice to have you here. I will too. Okay. I'm going to preface.
Eric Jillian, you're muted. Can you unmute? Come back.
Hang on.
Okay. How's now?
Got you.
Good.
Okay. Were we muted that whole time?
No, just the last minute.
Oh, okay. Because I welcome Maria again. So I want to premise for the couple of you that might be just joining us for the first time. This is the end of a month where we have been sort of exploring topically the nature of healing. And we dove in at the beginning of the month with this premise called losing normal. And losing normal was an exploration that we did together in a way around the experience of losing something that we never, ever would have willingly surrendered. And then the exchange of once that was taken in a way, or better said, just beyond our control, the observation of all the circumstances that became the result of that loss. And I'm going to say acknowledgement and recognition of those appearances in our experiences that were not chosen. And we kind of wrapped that up with, if you had the opportunity to get back what was taken, again, something you would never, ever have relinquished on your own, would you take it back if it meant you had to give back the gain or the growth that came with losing normal? So that was of the beginning of how we sort of looked at it. And I want to say that exploring together the activity of infinite awareness in that idea of losing normal, in a way gave us an opportunity to look at what happens when the dissolving of the ego that perceives itself to be a single activity of the finite mind. The ego is under the belief that its thought is a separate entity. The ego, it doesn't have the recognition even of it emerging out of the finite mind or pure awareness. It doesn't recognize that. So it perceives itself greater than the reality of I or the true self. And this is an important, I think, way in which we get to look a little deeper at the reconnective healing experience, because sometimes at the very core of a reconnective healing experience, we lose normal, almost always. And part of the retreat this weekend, we'll look at the nature of healing and how the reconnective healing experience makes all things new. But that was sort of the beginning. Then we moved into this encounter, which was a beautiful recognition of awareness with which everyone is aware, the awareness that is awareness, which with everyone is aware, is the same. There isn't one awareness that belongs to Lula. There isn't one awareness that's Julie's, or awareness is shared as one entity. And this is integral to a reconnective healing experience, because it's the recognition that at the core of every reconnective healing experience, this is the reconnection. This is it, and it isn't that you've been disconnected. It's that the
Awareness, the cognizant awareness hasn't always been there.
and
Leaves, it
and
comes
an-
and goes.
and another way we might think of that in a much simpler, more practical way is to say our finite experience becomes so loud and so powerful. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, lineage, DNA, space and time. There's so much force in that often that we are moves so deeply into the background of the awareness that we all share that we no longer recognize the true nature of our being. And this is just common in a way.
We view ourselves as individual, as separate and distinct, instead of recognizing that we are all one. We're aspects, we're facets, we're waves in an ocean. And that can be an easy thing to forget, to overlook. And then we do things that reinforce the illusion, such as trying to send a healing from one place to another, or other things that reinforce the illusion of separation.
Yeah, and let's even take it into, again, I really would love us to get so practical in our daily lives. Not everything has to be associated to a reconnective healing experience or moment. Really, we're all experience is the consumption of the finite. And so it's very easy for us to lose sight of that we are and that what we share. So we explored last week a little bit more overtly the encounter, or I'm sorry, the narrative. And the narrative was we really were reading through each of your contributions after the L&L, but the narrative was allowing the pure awareness of the finite mind, pure, undiluted by the ego grabbing the ownership of any one experience that it wants to call its own in a way, but allowing pure awareness of the finite mind to be the instrument of love, creativity, manifestation. Lula sang and posted a song this week. It was a narrative in my view right there. It was pure awareness. Her finite mind wrapped itself in the being of her true nature, and she shared that. So we are not looking to dissolve. There's no need to send our experiences anywhere. They are the finite mind as this instrument to bring forth love and creativity and manifestation in our daily life. So this sort of leads us to the conversation today. And I was weary and leery to put together this notion of 3 pathways, because I'm about to contradict myself intentionally, but 3 pathways, which are really all the same. We're going to explore a little bit as beauty, love, and prayer. And in a way, we're going to continue this walking towards ourselves, because the journey in rather than the journey to. Most of the time, our experiences are focused on the journey to something, even the journey in quite a confusing way to enlightenment, and the journey to being a better this or being a better that, or this is all part of experience and has really little to do with the journey in.
Well, the journey to something by itself indicates that we don't recognize that we may already be there. The journey to enlightenment doesn't necessarily acknowledge that enlightenment is our essence. So journeying to has a certain way of reaching towards something, but the gift comes from journeying inside of that.
Yeah. So again, language will always mess us up a little bit, but today,
And if it doesn't, we can mess ourselves up and just blame it on language.
today there's going to be an in-depth Q&A. That's part of the last Wednesday L&L of every month. So we want to leave a lot of room to explore this. And part of what we did was to explore beauty, love, and prayer through some poetry that we think will help us release the way in which the mind likes to capture its sense of self, and allow us to step into the presence of one indivisible, irreducible, unnameable, intimate whole. Okay. And you've heard me say this a lot. Prayer, love, and beauty are the names given to experience when the intimacy is known and felt. So the intimacy, I want you to understand the intimacy of not sort of just the spiritual way we say oneness, but the intimacy of one indivisible, irreducible, unnameable, intimate whole. That is our being. That is the recognition, awareness with which everyone is aware is the same. So prayer, love, beauty, love, prayer, we're going to go in reverse, are the names assigned or given to experience when this intimacy is known and felt. And really from the non-dual perspective, prayer, love, and beauty are a natural condition of all experience. They're not particular or a particular condition of some experiences. And this is why it's important to be in recognition as we deepen our awareness of the reconnective healing frequencies, that we don't create this separateness. So again, prayer, love, and beauty are the natural condition of all experience, not the particular condition to some experiences and not others, not the particular condition to things we like or that make us feel good or that upset us or bring us. Prayer, love, and beauty are the modulation or the condition of all experience before it is assigned something qualified.
Now, Hans made a comment, which is very astute. He said, it's hard to attain awareness. It's an interesting perspective. It's hard to attain awareness and start the journey inside as long as our mind is identified only with form, material judgments, opinions, ideas, and beliefs.
Which is perfect segue into exactly where we're going to start. So let's start with beauty, because beauty is the discovery that objects are not objects. In this that we are speaking of, the journey in, the discovery of beauty is that objects are not objects. And we're going to look at this. Anise Nin wrote a very particular statement on, and I'm going to read it to you, the flower. So I want you to think of, many of us love nature. We love animals. We love the beauty when we exchange or look at something beautiful, and the entire relationship of it being an object dissolves, right? Sometimes when you walk in the forest and everything around you is no longer seeable through your eyes. The objects are no longer objects. It's just beauty, right? So Anise Nin writes about the flower, and the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. So the bud often of something, the seed often is, it starts in some form for us at times, and dissolving before it flowers, what it is, can often be a very strong challenge for us to see the beauty in something. That could be a difficult relationship. How often are we in a relationship that causes what we, from a feeling point of view, would have established as the opposite of anything beautiful? It might be felt as something horrifying. And as it unfolds, even in the trauma of it, what emerges is the beauty that you are. So beauty is the discovery that objects are not objects. Love is the discovery that others are not others. So I'm going to have Cecilia put something in the chat. We're going to read it to you. And I want you to consider this around beauty. So she's putting it into the chat. It's the indescribable. We'll start there. And I want you to consider this in the way that we're speaking about beauty.
You are not a thing that can be found. You are an energy that has no edge, but dissolves into eternity. There is no definition of yourself that can adequately describe your true nature. Words fall upon the fertile ground of imagination, but nothing reaches all the way. To the indescribable, only our ability to embrace the unknown, knowing that life is far more mysterious than our capacity to understand it, brings any real freedom. Befriend the world beyond the world.
So to speak into your beautiful statement, I'm sorry, who was it that shared that just before? How
That was Hans.
Hans, and Hans, I think the premise of what you've stated is so worth contemplation here. In the before beyond, as we refer to the modulation of energy, light, and information, the before, the beyond being the experience, we let go of the need to know everything. We let go without doing anything. The simplicity of the play that often you learn as a module, if you will, in the reconnective healing experience. The play that allows the sensation to become the activity for your being to emerge back into the foreground and the experience or the sensation to become where your attention is brought to, in other words. So the energy, light, and information modulates the sensation before we assign it thoughts, feelings, memories, and we seek deeper into this journey in.
And I'll share with you something in a moment, but first, we
Oh.
have to say, but I feel like saying first, a word from our sponsor. But really what we want to do is we want to say, hey, all you YouTubers who are tuning in with us, we'd love you to continue with us. And you can here or later, just go to the chat line. And in the chat line, there's a link there to join the Reconnective Life Community, the RLC, and come play with us as we dive further into some of these topics.
Bye. Click
So
the
we'll
link.
see you there.
We'll see you soon.
I do want to tell you that I listened to discussions on this and the concept of the before, beyond, what was before experience. And it took a moment until, sometimes I know something cerebrally, but it takes a moment until it resonates with me, that the infinite, the eternal, is before experience, which is not just something we experience, but it's really the experience of life itself for us as humanity. Before the experience of being a human being, there is. So even the experience of being human is a finite experience of the infinite. And often, hey there, family. Dr. Eric and Jillian here.
Welcome, everyone.
And we're very excited about Reconnective Life, our first online global community. This is the most exciting way we've been able to get together since I founded the Reconnection. It'll be a place where we can do things together. We'll move into breakout rooms at times when that's appropriate. We'll have energy interactions and meditations and exercises. In other words, expect things you haven't seen before.
You are so charged.
Things we
He is so lit about every new way we get to be together every day. Just be together. Let us just speak a little bit about what is going to be the shape of this community.
In this community, we can share and discover more. Here we can talk to each other, we can chat, we can learn from and about one another. Jillian, me, our life leaders, and you will be in daily conversation with you. Weekly, we will have Facebook Lives.
We will be with you every Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be just Eric. On occasion, it might just be me. Sometimes it'll be the two of us. It's all about giving you a way to look at the week living in the frequencies.
And in every fourth week, we will include a live Q&A, so we can talk about the things that have been coming up for us, discuss back and forth, share, grow, expand together.
And the ever-growing library of content that has been created over 20 years that will be on demand for you. It will be on-demand content for you to view, enjoy, share again with your inner circle.
And monthly, we are going to have live Zoom retreats. We're going to bring in some exercises and experiences and things that previously we've reserved for our physical retreats, when we were in the different location resorts and things, and we're modifying them so that we can work with these with you in your home, in your living room, in your den. Put into the chat line, what is facility? We're having these weekly Zoom in-depth Q&As.
Finally, we have a place and space to just define what does that really mean living in the frequencies.
This is something that is in all of us.
Everyone can do this.
It doesn't matter how many levels you've gone through or how well you know the programs. It's a community that allows us to recognize how interrelated we all are as receivers of energy, light, and information.
See you there.
Reconnective Life, living in the frequencies every day.